Sean, you've moved into this fabulous new facility. When did the move happen?
We started the build last February. The lasers were in first, so we actually built the building around the laser machines. We bought a shell, and believe it or not, the building was built in 1993, even though it looks new. And we've literally developed it whilst cutting and processing.
You must be doing well at the moment to move into such a fabulous place.
This was more of a long-term project. As it stands at the moment, I've got 2 children, and the idea was give me children something to do. So it weren't a case that we were doing really well, it was just us looking at what's going to happen future-wise. We did outgrow the last building, and we probably flogged that for maybe 2.5 years longer than we should have done. But this was to try and future-proof us. We don't want to get too big. I mean, it's only 10,000 square feet, but this is what we're aiming for. It's just to try and keep the business moving forward at a comfortable pace, because we're not a profit-driven business, believe it or not. We're doing it more for, I won't say fun, because none of us come to work for fun, but it's more of trying to create a family atmosphere than it is trying to create wealth.
That's good to hear, and it's often a change from what we will hear so often. ONESITE Laser, though, what do you actually make here, Sean? What's your main core product?
We haven't got any core product. The business was set up on the back of, we used to trade parts. Before we bought our own machines, we'd buy and sell parts. We've got a sister company that do Andreel's walkways, that type of product, and we then used to make his own parts internally. But we used to approach customers and ask the customers, what did you struggle with? And when we first started trading, we used to literally sort out their problems. It weren't a case that we'd got even a service to sell. We used to just try and fix people's problems. And as the business has developed, the machines that we've bought, the add-on machines, the CNCs, the press brakes, the drilling tapping, it's all come from us customers saying, can you do this, can you do that? We've never been leaders and gone and thought, right, let's create a business for somebody then to buy that service from us. We've just created a business around what customers have asked us to do.
And is that why these TRUMPF machines perfectly fit? Certainly the 2 new ones that we've got here at the moment, they perfectly fit into what you're looking to do.
It is, and I explain to people that come in is, we are a laser processing company. We sell laser time, and all we expect is a machine to make the part that we want to sell to our customer. Somebody explained to me years ago once, they says, you don't take an order, you buy risk. And by buying risk is that a customer expects you to give them something that they want to pay for. So what I need a machine that will ensure that I get paid. So be it quality, be it time it delivers, and what I need is a machine that's reliable, that will constantly give me what I need day after day after day after day. And with TRUMPF, that's what I get.
So how did you come to that decision that the TRUMPF machines were the right ones?
Trial and error. And we started down a different avenue. We started down a second-hand route because, again, the business was small. We got no financing. We didn't want to borrow greatly, even though at one point we were well in excess of clocking £2 million worth of debt. But when we chose to buy the new machine, we actually picked the TRUMPF because of trials that were done on those machines. And the TRUMPF at the time was it was the whole package. It wasn't just what we were buying, because we were still infants when we bought the first new machine, but it was everything that came around it. We felt safe with TRUMPF. We felt as though we were dealing with family and peers rather than just dealing with salespeople.
And these weren't the only ones you looked at, because you used to have a competitor's machines which you moved away from. You did the same. You went through the same exercise with them, but you didn't get the same warm feeling. You didn't feel the technology was as good. You know that it wasn't the same overall package as what these offered you.
No, it's what we look at, or what I look at, because I was operating the machines. I was looking at how it were built, the strength of it, the longevity of it. Yeah, we'd had teething problems, but all laser cutting companies have teething problems when new technology comes around. And no matter who you talk to, somebody's always got something good and bad to say about anybody. Ours was more, as we were explaining this morning, it's people buy from people. TRUMPF made me more welcome as a person for me to buy their product, in the way that they never once tried to sell it me. They showed me what it did. And that's why we chose that route in the end, because we were shown what a machine could do. And then we looked then at what do we need. Somebody then explained to us what they'd got to help us meet our needs, and that's where we ended up with.
They're very confident in their product, and quite rightly so, and confident in their solutions. What they provided you with here, the components that you're making, the production that you're doing, you've made some great savings as a result of going over to the fibre from the CO2. That's been an education to you, isn't it?
I think it's been an education to every laser cutting company. When fibres first came about, and they've been about for years, it's not new modern technology, it's just the way you deliver the actual laser beam or the cutting source to the head, rather than your flying optics and your costs and everything with that. And it was an education from the start. So from a CO2 to a fibre, I will tell everybody, it's like flying a different car. It's like going from an automatic to a manual. That's the big difference. You've got to re-educate your operators, you've got to re-educate your material source, you've got to re-educate your programming, and if you get any one little bit wrong, it ends up being disastrous. And we've learned the hard way, like all laser cutters did. We expected it being the same, but it wasn't. It was like starting from scratch and moving into laser cutting. That's the difference.
But once you've hit the ground here and you're now running, they're far more economical, the fibre machines, on the applications, aren't they? And also much faster. So you're getting two benefits there.
Yeah. Well, our electricity bills, it's halved. But you can see the site. The site were built for having 3 laser machines based on using CO2 technology as cut rates, as speeds, what we're getting through shop. And the site was built to actually, and it is plumbed in for 3 machines. We've not bought the 3rd machine yet because we don't need the 3rd machine, because the machines are much more efficient, a lot more efficient than we expected. And because we've got a better flow of work through, because the plate stores is outside now, not in the building, and we feed the machines with the jobs that's needed. But because the technology is reliable, it's stable, and it's much, much quicker, a lot quicker than we expected it were going to be.
The control here, Sean. Now, you haven't wanted to get too involved in the use of that for good reason, but how have your operators found it?
The way you draw a program in, it's exactly the same. So the operation side of things, as in the operation just getting the parts to cut, it's minimal difference. The difference has been is the way that you used to have to manipulate a CO2 laser's technology to make the cut comfortable and consistent and reliable. You don't do that with your fibre. We've literally, once it's been more how the nest sits, the plates that you're cutting, that side of things. Operator-wise, I think everybody much prefers the fibre because you switch it on, you cut. With the CO2, you switch it on, waited for it to warm up, then you started to cut. If anything went wrong, you had to wait again for it to warm up, then you started to cut. We haven't had a single complaint from an operator.
Monitoring as well. Industry for TRUMPF are well on a journey with that. You've started to, or you're going to be embracing that too?
Yeah, we've put the screens are in now and all the cabling's in. We've just got to get the software switched on. Once the software's switched on, we're not doing it to, again, it's nothing to do with challenging what the lads are doing and we're getting full work. It's seeing where we slow down and how we slow down, and it's more across shift patterns. Are we getting a slowdown when we're changing shifts? Do we get the same production out of a night shift? We're now going to start feeding the plates to the machines prior to the nest arriving, so then the operator then's not going out looking for material to what he's going to cut. It also eliminates the check-in, so we can. It's putting us 3 checks on the system rather than just 1 check then.
When you're talking 3 machines here, there's 2 already in. You did make a comment to me earlier that your planned production for the 3 machines, you've actually pretty much satisfied with just a 2. That's great for your business, isn't it? We have.
We're about 5% off on what we anticipated with 3 machines, with 2 machines. Yes, there is the fluidity of the site and the flow of the site, which is a lot better than where we were before. But we were very, very shocked on the efficiency and the speed of these machines. And we're really glad that we didn't go chasing the power like we've been sold to us. We stuck with his guns, we chose 6 kilowatts, we'll stick with 6 kilowatts. I don't think I'll ever buy, unless something radically changes, I will never increase on 6 kilowatts, because you get a comfortable flow that suits me as a business owner. and the people that are operating the machines. I'm not wearing them into the ground.
Final point here, 2 subjects within it. This is a bit like a northern showroom for TRUMPF, because it's not just these machines you've also got your marking technology. What was the reason behind both of those? The look and the makeup of this place, plus that machine included.
The look of the site, whereas TRUMPF have supported me very well over the last few years. And when Ben joined, I actually said to Ben, I says, I will build him a northern showroom. And it's because I have to keep driving down to Luton, and I know he's got customers further north. I says, look, I've got to decorate the building. I like the blue and white of TRUMPF. It's not it's just purely my aesthetics. So I made the building look like, and again, I've got to impress my customers. When my customers come there, I want to understand that it's not just what comes off the machine, it's the whole environment of the site. I want people to know that my staff are happy. I want people to know that my office staff are happy, my work staff are happy. And this would a thank you really to TRUMPF, just to let them know that I'm happy with what they've done for me, and this is my helping them back.
So the marking machine wasn't just for that. There is a production reason.
The marking machine, it was never bought for commercial gain. It was bought to try and get me youngest son interested in engineering. So I thought I'll start him young, and literally we make key rings and little bottle openers, sort of thing. We do all his own in-house little marketing trinkets. Commercially, we do invoice the odd job, but it wasn't bought to be a commercial marking business. However, we are moving more and more towards it now, because a lot more customers are seeing what this little marker does. Again, there's cheap Chinese. I mean, they're not cheap machines. I think the retail value on that's about 57,000. But what I would say is that if you got it working, you'd burn as much money out of the marker as you would out of an industrial laser with a lot less hassle.
By doing what? Marking parts? Part numbers?
Yeah. We do a lot of tags. We do a lot of sort of like little tags for deep sea. We deep engrave, we anneal. Yeah, we started making coasters and key rings. That's how we started. But we are developing more and more now. We're looking at some point in the not so distant future creating a marking website just to promote the marking side of the business. We've got to keep it away from the general side, because with marking it's more of a, what's the best way of describing it? It's not the engineering of the part, it's the engineering behind the software and the creation of what you're marking. It's a lot more difficult. It's more Adobe Illustrator than it is TrueTop's mark.
And did it get your son interested?
He does, yes. I've got cheap labour, if that's allowed. I do pay him, so it doesn't mark for free, but I've had, I think over one weekend I had 2 13-hour shifts out of him, and he never once complained, because he's the same as me. He's interested by what it does, and you can't help but watch the machine mark, because you can't see, with lasers you can see cutting, it doesn't, the pattern just appears on the material from nothing. It's very interesting.
If he is like you, I'm sure, well, I know you've got that great work ethic, and that's why you've built a fabulous business here. Good luck, ONESITE Laser, for the future. Sean, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you very much. Cheers.